Hydrocephalus. It is one of the most important disease condition in your third year. What is meant by hydrocephalus? It is derived from the Greek word hydro means you all know water. Water, and cephalus means meaning head. As name implies, it is a combination in which the primary characteristics is excessive accumulation of fluid in the brain. Definition of hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is an abnormal accumulation of cerebrospinal fluid in the intracranial spaces, or hydrocephalus is an abnormal accumulation of cerebrospinal fluid in the ventricles and cavities of brain. This causes increased intracranial pressure inside the skull and may cause progressive enlargement of the head. This is how the circulation of cerebrospinal fluid occurs in the brain. Then normal CSF circulation from the lateral ventricles to the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle through the abducens, then to the central canal of the spinal cord and subarachnoid spaces to the foramen of Laschke, and reabsorbed in the venous sinuses by the arachnoids villi. Incidence is it is found 1 to 3 years of every 1,000 born children in the worldwide. Cerebrospinal fluid, the characteristics, the normal amount of CSF is about 150 ml. CSF is formed by the choroid plexus, then absorbed by the arachnoid villi. Normally about 500 ml of CSF formed every day and an equal amount is absorbed. Then communicating hydrocephalus. Communicating hydrocephalus is a condition that results when the arachnoid villi are unable to adequately reabsorb CSF. Intraventricular or subarachnoid hemorrhage, infectious processes such as meningitis may also render the arachnoid villi to be non-function. May also be due to the overproduction of CSF. This is rare and usually associated with a choroid plexus papilloma or a choroid plexus carcinoma. Non-communicating hydrocephalus. Non-communicating hydrocephalus is a condition that results when the ventricular system does not communicate with the arachnoid villi due to some obstruction in the normal pathways of CSF flow. Consequently, CSF is produced in the ventricular system but cannot flow to the arachnoid villi to be reabsorbed. Such obstruction can occur when the pathways are blocked by a tumor, congenital abnormalities of the brain, cyst, inflammation from the infection, or any other condition that interferes the patency of these pathways. This is the anterior view of brain, then the lateral view of brain you are seeing. Then there are two types of hydrocephalus, communicating hydrocephalus, and now up to now we discussed, and non-communicating hydrocephalus. Etiology. If you see the etiology of hydrocephalus, congenital intra-uterine infections mainly in rubella, toxoplasmosis, cytomegaloviruses, then congenital brain tumors, intracranial hemorrhage, congenital malformations of the arachnoid villi. Then acquired causes are inflammation, trauma, neoplasm, space occupying lesions like tuberculoma, subdural hematoma or abscess, glioma, ependymo. These are the different types of tumors in the brain. Choroid plexus papilloma, pseudomotor cerebri. Chemical causes are hypervitaminosis, vitamin A especially. Connective tissue disorders, Hurler syndrome, arachnoid plasia, and degenerative atrophy of brain, arteriovenous malformations, ruptured aneurysms, cavernous sinus thrombosis. Then if you see the clinical manifestations, an unusual large head, rapid increase in the size of the head, bulging tens of soft spot on the top of the head, Marchion's sign. And then eyes fixed downward, that is sunsetting of the eyes, shiny scalp with prominent scalp vein. Marchion's sign means cracked skull. Diagnosis, evaluation, physical examination, positive translumination of the infant head, then typical cracked spots found, that is Marchion's sign. Of the skull bone, ophthalmoscopy, MRI, CT scan, cranial ultrasonography, X-ray skull. These are the clinical features if you see by picture. Cerebrospinal fluid examination. This is normal cerebrospinal fluid, clear, odorless, whereas in hydrocephalus, turbid and cloudy. WBC is 0.5, whereas WBC is 1000 to 2000, protein is 15 to 45, protein is 100 to 500, glucose is 50 to 80, glucose lower than blood sugar, then pressure is 50 to 180, pressure 180 to 180 or greater. That is cerebrospinal fluid pressure, intracranial pressure. Medical management of hydrocephalus directed toward reducing intracranial pressure. Prevention and management of complications, managing problems caused by pathology. Medical management include the use of osmotic diuretics, loop diuretics to reduce cerebrospinal fluid production. Medical management is temporary relief, but main management is surgery. The children will look poor feeding, seizures, deficit in muscle tone and strength, responses to touch and unexpected growth, then vomiting, sleeplessness and irritability. Lumbar puncture. This is a important diagnostic measures. Endoscopic third ventricular colostomy, third ventriculostomy. An alternative procedure to shunt surgery is an endoscopic third ventriculostomy. This procedure involves making a hole in the floor of the brain, allowing the trapped CSF to escape to the surface of the brain, where it can be absorbed instead of inserting a shunt. Ventriculoperitoneal shunt. It is the most preferable surgical procedure. VP shunt, plastic tube that allows fluid to drain from the brain to the other part of the brain. This damage prevents the increase in the pressure in the brain caused by hydrocephalus. Surgical management. A shunt is made of radioplastic and has ventricular catheter, pressure valve, pumping chamber, and distal catheter that direct the flow of the CSF from the ventricle to other areas of body from where it is absorbed. That is endoscopic third ventriculostomy. Now we discussed choroidal plexectomy, ventriculoperitoneal shunt, ventriculoarterial shunt, ventriculopleural shunt, ventriculo-gallbladder shunt. Warning signs of VP shunts are headache, hurts more time passes, then child acts irritated. This may be the only sign of headache in a child who is young or cannot speak. Vomiting, throwing up with little or no nausea, changes in personality. For example, a child who is easy to deal with becomes very hard to handle all of a sudden, or is just not acting right. Swelling of the skin that runs along the pathway of vision, bulging, soft spot on the child's head, vision problems, blurry and double vision or loss of vision, loss of some mental and physical abilities that he or she had already mastered. This is the hydrocephalus, how the shunt is placed from the brain to the peritoneum, that is peritoneal shunt. Then if it is VP peritoneum shunt, from the lateral ventricle, third ventricle and fourth ventricle, the tube is passed to the peritoneum. Another type of shunt is ventricular arterial shunt. It is also called as ventricular shunt. It shunts the cerebral ventricle through the jugular vein, superior vena cava to the right cardiac atrium. It is used when the patient has abdominalitis, peritonitis, morbid obesity after extensive abdominal surgery. This shunt requires repeated lengthening in a growing child. Right atrium, the catheter is passed. This is the difference of ventriculoperitoneal shunt to ventricular shunt. What is the shunt infection? A shunt infection occurs when the bacteria infects the tissues around the VP shunt. When the tissue is infected, it can cause the VP shunt to stop working properly. A shunt that does not work well can cause an increase in the pressure within the brain. This increases in pressure can damage the brain or threaten the child's life. Signs of shunt infections are a fever that is equal to or higher than 100 degree Fahrenheit, redness or swelling of the skin that turns along the pathway of the VP shunt, pain around the shunt or around the shunt tubing. Prognosis depends on the early diagnosis and prompt therapy. With improved diagnostic and management techniques, the prognosis is become considerably better. Approximately 2/3 of the patients will die at the early age of if they do not receive surgical treatment. Complications, seizures, herniation of the brain, spontaneous arrest due to natural compensatory mechanism, persistent increased intracranial pressure and the brain herniation, then developmental delay, depression. Lumbar peritoneal shunt. A lumbar peritoneal shunt is used only for communicating hydrocephalus, CSF fistula or pseudotumor cerebri. Ventricular shunt. A ventricular shunt is considered second line. It is used if other shunt types are contraindicated. The nursing management. Explain the family about the management of required for the disorder. Provide preoperative nursing care. Assess head circumference, frontal LA, cranial sutures and level of consciousness. Check also for irritability, altered feeding habits and a high-pitched cry. Then administer prescribed medications which may include antibiotics to prevent the infection and analgesics for pain. Provide shunt care, monitor for shunt infections and malfunctions which may be characterized by rapid onset of vomiting, severe headache, irritability, lethargic fever, redness along the shunt tract and fluid around the shunt valve. Then prevent the infection, monitor for shunt or drainage, headache and dizziness and nausea. Firmly support the head and neck when holding the child. Provide skin care for the head to prevent the breakdown. Give small frequent feedings to decrease the risk of vomiting. Provide post-operative nursing care. Assess for signs of increased intracranial pressure. Check the following head circumference daily, anterior frontal for size. Needs identified: physical needs, physiological needs, psychological needs. Physical needs: need to maintain the personal hygiene, prevention of skin breakdown, prevention of reduction of deformities, maintenance of ideal weight, change the position frequently. Physiological needs: prevention of injuries and infections of sac, provisions of adequate nutrition, prevention of infection in urinary tract, then regulation of bladder and bowel functions. Psychological needs: relieve anxiety of patients, maintain the psychology of the parents. Nursing diagnosis: ineffective cerebral tissue perfusion related to increased intracranial pressure, imbalanced nutrition less than body requirements related to reduced oral intake and vomiting, risk for impaired skin integrity related to alteration in the level of consciousness and enlarged head, anxiety related to abnormal conditions and surgical interventions, risk of infection related to introduction of infecting organism through the shunt. Risk for impaired skin integrity related to altered level of consciousness. Interventions are: maintain skin integrity by preventing pressure sores, keep the scalp clean and dry, turn the child head frequently, give range of motion exercises. Next diagnosis is ineffective cerebral tissue perfusion related to increased intracranial pressure. Interventions are: maintain cerebral perfusion, observe for evidence of increased intracranial pressure, report immediately, assist with the diagnostic procedure to determine the cause of hydrocephalus and administering treatment schedule as indicated. Imbalanced nutrition, less than body requirements related to reduced oral intake and vomiting. Interventions: providing adequate nutrition. Be aware that feeding is frequently and difficult because the child may be twisted and prone to get vomiting. Then complete nursing care and treatment before feeding so the child will not be disturbed after feeding. Hold the infant in a semi-sitting position with the head well supported during the feeding. After offer small frequent feeding. Place the child on the side with the head elevated after feeding to prevent the aspiration. Then teach home care. Encourage child to participate in the age appropriate activities as tolerated. Encourage the parents to provide as normal lifestyle as possible. Explain how to recognize signs and symptoms of increased intracranial pressure. Subtle signs including changes in the school performance, intermittent headache and mild behavioral changes. Arrange for child to have a frequent developmental screening and routine medical checkups. In summary, we seen the definition of hydrocephalus. This is the accumulation of water in the brain. CSF circulation, how it is circulated, where it is generated. Then types of hydrocephalus are communicated and non-communicated. Etiology, clinical management, diagnostic evaluation, management, prognosis, complication, nursing management of hydrocephalus. Thank you.